So each year, and particularly in the summer months, child drownings, capsizing boats, all causing people to go missing in deep waters, especially in rural areas. So this Women's Month, the SAPS have paid tribute to Lieutenant Colonel Anzari Fourie, who is the only woman diver in the Northwest Province. If you've ever wondered what it's like being a woman police diver, she joins us now to share some of her experiences. Anzari, it's great to talk to you this morning on the AM report. And you know, it's always such a difficult thing to talk about the first woman in anything. But as the first woman diver in the Northwest and the only woman diver in the Northwest Province, tell us what's significant about being a woman in this job.
Well, it's quite a demanding and stressful job, as I think you all can think about, diving into dark waters, and especially the thing where you have to go and look for a person that might have drowned, especially a child that might have drowned. It puts a lot of stress on a person. And I think, but if you think of consoling the parents, I think it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And just the fact, it's for me, it's a job that I would love to do, because it gives closure to families that really need closure, that is standing next to water bodies that really look very despondent at that moment.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers are shocking. In 2020 alone, you and your team responding to at least 80 incidents.
Yes, around about 80. It was actually 91 incidents. Sure. Although not all of them were children, but 91 incidents in the Northwest Province alone.
Sure. And tell us about some of those incidents. We're told it's some involving capsizing boats, others children who somehow have gotten into the water unsupervised.
Yes. Our biggest problem is children. We've had one last week where some of my diving personnel had to go to Brits area, where they had to remove two little children, a little daughter and a little brother. They're not brothers and sisters, though, but a daughter and a son of someone that is lost now.
Sure. And
they were 5 and 8 years old. It was very terrible. And I think for those parents, it must be excruciating. And for us as divers, it's very bad to stand next to the water and take out those small little bodies. The same as we've had problems with vessels that caught fire in Hartbeespoortdam, where people lost their lives. And so it's a stressful job. And people can think, older people that want to cross river crossings that is dangerous, and they fall in and they drown. So it's really a problem in our country.
I mean, the job as an SAPS police diver, your entire job consists one way or the other of either saving people's lives when they've gotten into trouble in bodies of water, or consoling families when you've retrieved their loved ones' bodies.
Exactly. The nice thing is when you can save people. We've had in February a lot of floods in the Taung area, and there we managed to save 16 people's lives, which for us is such a victory.
Yeah, yeah, I can just imagine. I mean, in terms of the alerts that go out throughout the year, whether it's during the summer months or when there's flooding, the alerts that go out to communities advising them about the dangers of large bodies of water. Do you reckon that those alerts are reaching people, or are they, in some instances, being ignored?
I think they do reach people. I definitely think they reach people, although I think we should keep on doing what we are doing and even doing more. To me, it's very important that it needs to be taken up at school already. It's very important that children need to be taught to swim from a very young age, and at least be water safe if they can't swim properly, so that they know what to do when getting into water. And parents need to be advised and told, please keep an eye on your children. Stay close to them. Supervision. Don't let them play alone close to water, because for children, that water, they don't realize it's deep or dark or dangerous. They just think it's fun to play in.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, the issue of alcohol, I imagine, also comes into play.
Yes, with our adult people that drown, that's a big problem with alcohol, especially when they go on these pleasure vessels and they have some alcohol, and then tend to have some bravado and they want to jump in even though they can't swim properly. And that's how they get drowned. And especially if you're under the influence, that assists in drowning.
Yeah, even if you can swim, if you're under the influence of alcohol, it does impact your ability. Yeah.
Even if you can swim, yes. And especially in rivers and that where you've got currents and there's things under the water like rocks and pipes and all kinds of things, it can pose a danger and you don't realize that when you drown.
So I want you to just, if we can ask you to just take us through, when you do receive an alert, what happens from then on in terms of how your team prepares and that experience of wading through waters. I mean, you're going underwater. You don't necessarily know what the environment is like underwater. And how late into the night are you actually able to work and do your job to find someone?
Well, we can dive right through the night if it has to. We prefer to dive when it's still hours where you can see, because the problem is not the diver that's under the water. He can see nothing in any case. But the supervisor that needs to keep those diving team or those diving people on the underwater and on the scene safe, he needs to be able to see what is happening underwater. He needs to see the signals that's being given on the buoys. And if it's in darkness, it's very difficult for him to read those signals. So we're trying to do it more in light hours. But if it's trying to save someone's life, when it's not just a recovery, we can go right through the night.
Yeah, absolutely, when every moment counts. Anzari, before we let you go, you talk a lot about a lot of your job being quite grim insofar as recovering the bodies, especially of children who have gotten into trouble in water. What do you do? Because I'm sure that must have quite an impact on you mentally. What do you do to decompress, to debrief?
Well, we have, first, my diving group is a group that is very in touch with their religion. I think it helps a lot. And us as a group that sit together afterwards and just discuss everyday things, not per se the dive scene that we had, especially if it was bad ones. Just talking about it with each other and letting off steam, it helps a very big lot. And the group per se itself, I think we are a lot of people that have been working together for many years. So that makes our bond much stronger, and we tend to see if something is going wrong with each other, and we jump in and help. And I think that is something that assists us a lot with it.
Well, Lieutenant Colonel Anzari Fourie, thank you so much for the incredible work that you and your team do insofar as saving lives and bringing closure to many families across the country. We do appreciate it very much indeed. Lieutenant Colonel Anzari Fourie is an SAPS police diver. We're reflecting on this as we close off some of our Women's Day coverage. Women's Month coverage, pardon me.